It was the kind of sound that instantly pulls you out of sleep, the kind that your brain recognizes as wrong before you even fully wake up. Liam Carter opened his eyes to darkness and silence, his heart already beating faster than normal. For a few seconds he stayed completely still, listening carefully, trying to convince himself that whatever woke him had come from outside. Maybe it was a car passing too quickly. Maybe something had fallen somewhere down the street. But deep down he already knew the truth. The sound had come from inside the house. It had been the unmistakable crack and shatter of glass breaking. Slowly Liam reached for his phone on the nightstand beside his bed, turning on the flashlight and holding it tightly as he sat up. The glowing screen said it was 2:14 in the morning. The hallway outside his room looked darker than usual, the faint streetlight through the window barely illuminating the walls. For a moment he considered ignoring it and staying in bed, but the uneasy feeling in his chest wouldn't let him. Something downstairs had definitely broken, and the silence afterward felt heavier than it should have. Taking a slow breath, Liam stepped into the hallway and walked toward the staircase, each floorboard creaking louder than he remembered. When he leaned over the railing and pointed his phone light into the living room below, the beam revealed something glittering across the floor. Shards of broken glass were scattered near the entrance. But what made Liam freeze completely was the front door. It was standing wide open. Liam walked down the stairs slowly, gripping his phone so tightly that his knuckles turned pale. The beam of light moved carefully across the room as he reached the bottom step. The living room looked almost normal at first glance, but the closer he looked, the stranger things felt. The broken glass on the floor came from a picture frame that had been hanging beside the front door only hours earlier. Liam recognized immediately. It was an old photograph of him and his younger sister Emma taken years ago, back when life had felt much simpler. Now the wooden frame lay shattered across the floor, pieces scattered in every direction. The front door creaked softly as a cold breeze drifted into the house. Liam stepped closer and checked the lock. It wasn't broken. There were no scratches, no damage. Whoever opened the door had done it normally. Which meant one of two things: someone inside the house had opened it, or someone had been inside long before the door opened. Liam slowly bent down and lifted the photograph from the broken frame. The moment he looked at it, a chill ran through his entire body. The photograph was empty. The picture itself was gone. By the time morning arrived, Liam had barely slept at all. The events of the night replayed over and over in his mind, each possibility sounding stranger than the last. When his friend Marcus Reed stopped by later that afternoon, Liam explained everything that had happened. Marcus listened carefully, examining the broken frame and the doorway like someone trying to solve a puzzle. Marcus was the kind of person who didn't accept easy explanations, especially when things didn't make sense. After searching the living room and hallway carefully, Marcus said something that made Liam uneasy. If someone had broken into the house, they hadn't taken anything valuable. That meant the person hadn't come for money or electronics. They had come for something else. The two friends continued searching the house until Marcus suddenly called out from the kitchen. When Liam walked in, he saw Marcus standing beside the table staring at something lying in the center. It was the missing photograph. Somehow it had reappeared inside the house. But the moment Liam looked closer, he noticed something that made his stomach tighten. The picture had changed. In the photograph, the younger version of Liam stood smiling beside his sister Emma just like he remembered. But now there was someone else standing behind them. A tall figure with a blurred face. Watching the photograph sat silently on the kitchen table while both boys stared at it in disbelief. Liam tried to remember every detail from the day the picture had been taken. He remembered the park, the sunlight, the way Emma had laughed just before the photo was snapped. But he was absolutely certain about one thing. There had never been anyone standing behind them. Yet the figure in the photograph looked unmistakably human. Marcus leaned closer to the image, studying it carefully. The figure's body was slightly distorted, as if the camera had struggled to focus on it. But the face was the most unsettling part. The eyes were wide open, staring directly toward the camera. And the longer Liam looked at the photograph, the stronger the strange feeling became. It was as if the figure wasn't just part of the image. It was looking back at him from inside it. Marcus suddenly remembered something that neither of them had considered yet. Liam had installed a small security camera near the front door months earlier after hearing about several break-ins around the neighborhood. If someone had entered the house during the night, the camera should have recorded it. They rushed to the small desk in Liam's office where the monitor was connected to the system. After scrolling through the recordings, Liam finally found the moment from the previous night. The hallway appeared on the screen exactly as it always did, quiet and empty. Then suddenly the picture frame lifted slightly from the wall. Neither of them moved as they watched the footage again. The frame didn't fall naturally. It looked as if something invisible had grabbed it and thrown it to the floor. Seconds later the front door slowly opened. Then a tall shadow stepped into view. The shape looked exactly like the figure from the photograph. It stood motionless for several seconds, facing directly toward the camera. Watching for a long moment, neither Liam nor Marcus spoke. The silence in the room felt heavier than before. Marcus finally whispered the thought that had been forming in both of their minds. The figure had walked into the house. But it hadn't approached from outside. When Liam rewound the footage, he realized something terrifying. The camera only faced the doorway. It had not captured where the figure came from before appearing on screen. Which meant the figure had already been inside the house before the door opened. Before Liam could respond, a new sound echoed through the quiet house. A slow creaking noise from the second floor. Both of them turned toward the staircase at the same time. Someone, or something, was walking upstairs carefully. Liam and Marcus climbed the staircase together, each step echoing through the hallway. The house felt colder than before, the air strangely heavy around them. When they reached Liam's bedroom, the door was slightly open even though he remembered closing it earlier. Marcus slowly pushed it wider. The room looked normal at first glance. Nothing seemed out of place. But then Liam noticed the mirror hanging on the wall across the room. When he stepped closer, his reflection appeared in the glass exactly as expected. Marcus stood behind him in the doorway. But there was something else in the reflection too. Standing directly between them was the tall shadowy figure. Liam spun around instantly. The room was empty. When he turned back to the mirror, the figure was still there, staring silently from the reflection. And slowly, almost deliberately, the shadow's blurred face began to smile.